One of the things I hear the most from my clients at an executive level is that they're looking to become more strategic. One of the things that you need to be, if you're an executive in the current environment that we live in, is that you need to be able to demonstrate a strong sense of strategic thinking. You need to be a skilled strategic thinker. In this video, I want to share with you what are the most important elements of strategic thinking, because a lot of people make a lot of mistakes when it comes to strategy. It's one of those words that we throw around a lot of the time, and people don't always know exactly what it means. And the reason is because it means a lot of different things. But in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 elements that you really are going to cover whenever you want to master strategic thinking. So by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what you can do to become a more strategic leader. I'm Owen Fitzpatrick, psychologist, and over the course of the next few minutes, what I want to do is walk you through the 3 elements that you most need to demonstrate in order for you to come across as a more strategic thinker. Now, first of all, when we talk about strategy, what do we mean? There are a million different definitions of strategy. Sometimes when people talk about strategy, they talk about it as competitive strategy, such as the 5 forces of Michael Porter. Other times when people say that they want to be more strategic, they're thinking about thinking long-term and how they can cultivate a long-term vision to be able to move towards and make decisions instead of making tactical decisions in the here and now and responding to what's going on. They make more strategic decisions. And sometimes people are thinking about strategy from the perspective of looking at the big picture thinking, if you will. So what is strategy? Well, instead of defining it in one of these specific ways, what I like to do is to share that strategy to me is really about helping people to move towards a grander vision by being able to incorporate big picture thinking, futuristic thinking, as well as competitive strategic thinking, so that they're able to make the right decisions to get them to where they need to get to. And to break this down even further, there are 3 types of strategic thinking that I always recommend cultivating and working on. First of all, we have future strategy. And future strategy is really about how you think about the future and how you develop a more long-term perspective of what you need to do moving forward. The first element of this is to be able to set a clear vision of where you're going in the future. Where is it that you want to be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? And deciding that by you being clear of exactly where you need to get to, it informs what you're going to do today and over the course of the next few months and indeed few years. You also, though, need to recognize that just because you want to get there doesn't mean it's going to be easy. So you also need to pay attention to what is the information coming from the market. That means what are the trends that you're noticing that may affect you in some way? What are the trends you're noticing in your industry? The trends that you're noticing in the market? For example, over the last year or so, AI is continuously being something which is a very big trend, so much so that it's dramatically impacting the marketplace in very, very extreme ways. And so we need to recognize these kinds of trends because they will impact the vision that we have and how we're going to proceed moving towards that vision. The next thing we need to pay attention to is, of course, the opportunities of the future. So we need to ask ourselves, what are the good things that will happen, that we expect to happen over the next 12 to 24 to 36 months? And how can we leverage those opportunities? And then finally, we need to look at, well, what are the threats that we know we may need to face over the course of the next 12, 24, 36 months or so. When we're paying attention to the vision of where we want to get to, the trends in the marketplace, we look at the opportunities and the threats. That is, in a nutshell, future strategy thinking. The second type of strategy thinking is what I call big picture strategy. And big picture strategy is really about looking downwards at the entire organization, getting a clear perspective on exactly what's going on. This means looking down at your organization and figuring out, well, who are the key stakeholders and the key internal stakeholders in your organization, as well as the external stakeholders in terms of your clients or customers or whatnot. Once you're aware of the different stakeholders, it allows you to be able to understand how the decisions that you make are going to impact the various different types of individuals that you are going to be impacting through the work that you do. So it makes you aware of who are the various different people that will be affected by the decisions you make. You also want to be able to be aware of what are the priorities that you have. So what are the most important things that you need to prioritize in order for you to make the best decisions possible? You need to be aware of the environment and the resources. So any influences or impact that might be had or made by the various different implications of the environment and the restrictions that the environment might play in preventing us to be as effective as we can be in making the decisions that we make. And also we need to ensure we're clear about how we communicate the decisions and how we're communicating with the various different stakeholders, so to ensure that the decisions we make are able to cascade down throughout the organization in the most effective manner to ensure that everybody is collaborating as effectively as they might. The third type of strategic thinking is what I call competitive strategy. And this is obviously popularized by the work of people like, as I mentioned, Michael Porter and his 5 forces. But competitive strategy is really about understanding who your internal and external competition, right? And that could be internal in terms of the other people in your organization that might be competing for the same kind of resources, but also external competition, most importantly. What are your competitors doing? And therefore, it should inform, well, what is it that you need to be doing differently to them? And that's really also informed by understanding what are your strengths and weaknesses in comparison to your competition. What do you do better than them? And what is it that they do better than you? And by you understanding those differences, it allows you to start to make the right decisions so you can keep doing what you do better than them even better, and you can reduce the gap between what they're doing better than you so you can start to catch up with them in that way. That's competitive strategy in a nutshell. So if we look at, again, the 3 types of strategy, we've got future strategy, we've got big picture strategy, and we've got competitive strategy. And instead of trying to target yourself in or niche in on one type of strategy and think that that means all strategy, instead, by you looking at things through these 3 lenses, it really helps you to be much more effective and a much more strategic leader by doing that. For more videos all about leadership, please check out the rest of the videos on my channel. I have a great video about executive presence, which you can check out, for instance. But for now, I'm Owen Fitzpatrick. Thank you very much for watching.